As usual, Nintendo were the ones to close out E3, and I thought they had a very good showing that filled in the lineup of games that we'll be playing on our Switches in the back half of 2021. I'll give more of my thoughts on the Direct as a whole at the end of this video, but for now, let's dive right into all of the news out of the Nintendo Direct for E3 2021. Kazuya from Tekken is the latest fighter to join the roster of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I was happy to see this, as I think it's usually more exciting to see a third-party character added to Smash Bros. And with the DLC for Ultimate, we've seen a lot of them. Be it Joker, Sephiroth, Banjo, Steve and Alex, the list goes on. Something I really appreciate about Smash is the way it manages to translate characters' movesets from their own games into Smash Bros. And Kazuya is another great example of this, with his iconic strings of combos and devil form both appearing in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Kazuya seems like a logical choice, and we now have representation for Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, and Tekken in Ultimate. This means Smash Ultimate features characters from SNK, Capcom, and Bandai Namco. Nearly all the big dogs of the fighting genre now have a character in Smash. All that's missing is an Arc System Works and NetherRealm character. Smash Bros. Really is the ultimate celebration of the world of video games. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is probably the game I've spent the most time with over the Switch's life cycle, so I'm always excited to dive back in and try out each of the new DLC fighters. The Life is Strange Remastered Collection and Life is Strange True Colors will both be coming to the Switch in September. It's great that Switch players will now be able to check out this series, though it's a little odd that Life is Strange 2 isn't coming to the Switch. I said it in my recap of the Square Enix showcase, and I want to reiterate it here. If you're a Switch gamer who's experiencing Life is Strange for the first time, don't sleep on Before the Storm. It's low-key the best Life is Strange game. It was announced that the recently revealed Guardians of the Galaxy game from Deus Ex developers Eidos Montreal will also be coming to the Switch, though it'll be in the form of a streaming version of the game. This is easily one of my most anticipated games of the year, and you can check out my recap of the Square Enix showcase to hear all about why I'm so excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I highly doubt that streaming is the ideal way to play an action-heavy game like this, but I guess it's nice that people who only own a Switch will have a way to play Guardians of the Galaxy. After launching last year on PlayStation consoles and PC, multiplayer Worms spin-off Worms Rumble will now be making its way to other platforms, including the Switch. When Worms Rumble lands on Switch, it'll feature a brand new map and costume. I gave this game a shot when it came out on PS5 last year, and I didn't care for it at all, so I certainly wouldn't recommend picking this port up at full price. It's also worth noting that it didn't look like the game was running very well on Switch. Astria Ascending is a new turn-based JRPG with beautiful hand-drawn visuals. Astria Ascending is being worked on by developers who previously helped make games in the Final Fantasy series, as well as Nier Automata and Bravely Default. Among Astria Ascending's team members are Kazushige Nojima, who served as a writer on Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it features music by Hitoshi Sakamoto, who previously composed the scores for Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy XII. It also sounds like there'll be a lot of content to sink your teeth into in Astria Ascending, with the developers promising over 50 hours of content, 20 dungeons to explore, over 200 types of monsters to fight, and an array of different mini-games to kill time with. It's also worth keeping in mind that if you're an Xbox owner, Astria Ascending will be available on Game Pass. A new trailer for 2 Point Campus was shown after the game was officially revealed a couple of weeks ago at Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live. 2 Point Campus is a sequel to the massively popular hospital management game, 2 Point Hospital. As the title implies, you'll be managing a university this time around. A remastered collection of Super Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball 2, and Super Monkey Ball Deluxe was announced with a trailer. These games have been stranded on old hardware for a long time, so it's exciting to see them being brought to modern platforms. If you haven't played Super Monkey Ball, they're incredibly fun and surprisingly challenging games where you have to navigate a monkey in a ball through an obstacle course by tilting the stage. Seeing as these games are all about chasing high scores, the Switch seems like the perfect home for them, as they'll be great games to pick up and play while on the go. These games were very well received when they originally came out, with 1 and 2 both landing at an 87 average on Metacritic, so I'll be curious to see how well they've aged. Interestingly, this isn't the first remaster the Monkey Ball series has seen, as Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz received a remaster a couple of years back. That was originally a Wii game, and it's generally looked at as one of the weaker games in the series, so I don't know why that received the remaster treatment before this trilogy of beloved games. Mario Party Superstars is the latest entry in the long-running Mario Party franchise. Instead of focusing on new maps and mini-games, Mario Party Superstars will instead be combining 5 classic maps from the N64 Mario Party games, like Peach's Birthday Cake and Spaceland, with 100 of the best mini-games from the Mario Party series. I think this is a great idea. The Mario Party series has been massively inconsistent in quality over the past 20 years, so cherry-picking all the best elements of the series and combining them into one game seems like the perfect way to guarantee a hit. There's also some great new quality of life additions to Superstars, like the ability to save mid-game and online play for every mode. There's even matchmaking now. If they nail the selection of maps and mini-games, this could easily be the best game in the Mario Party series. Metroid Dread is a game that's been rumoured for over 15 years, with it originally being rumoured to be a DS game back in 2005. Now 16 years later, it's been officially announced as the next mainline Metroid game. I love that Nintendo brought this name back after all these years. Metroid Dread will be a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania, and if you exclude remakes, it's the first new 2D Metroid since Metroid Fusion on the GBA 19 years ago. Metroid Dread sees Samus once again exploring an alien planet, though this time she's being hunted by robots known as ME units, who are almost indestructible. This means Samus will have to flee or make use of Dread's new stealth mechanics to avoid encounters with them. Metroid Dread is being developed by Mercury Steam, who previously made Metroid Samus Returns, the 3DS remake of Metroid 2. That was a good remake, so I'm glad they're being given the reins to the Metroid franchise to make their own brand new Metroid game. Alongside the announcement of Metroid Dread, we also got the announcement of a new Amiibo 2-pack that features Samus and an ME robot. This was certainly one of the most exciting announcements of this E3 for me, and Metroid Dread has instantly become one of my most anticipated games of 2021. After its announcement at the Ubisoft showcase, Just Dance 2022 got another brief showing here. While it's not the most exciting thing to show at a conference, it makes sense to include it here, as the Switch has a ton of casual players who are into this kind of game. Cruisin Blast is getting ported to console as a Switch exclusive after making its debut in arcades back in 2017. It's always nice to see arcade games making their way to console. Cruisin Blast offers almost 30 tracks and 23 vehicles, so it seems like a pretty content-rich racing game. I've actually played Cruisin Blast a few times in arcades, and it's a pretty fun game, though this Switch port looked a bit rough visually to me. After releasing on PS4, Xbox One and PC last year, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will be coming to Switch in September, and this version even includes the 2 DLC episodes. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is an action RPG that lets you relive the entire story of Dragon Ball Z, from the Saiyan saga right through to the Buu saga. I actually really liked this game and got the Platinum Trophy in the PS4 version. In fact, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot made it into my top games of 2020 video, so I definitely recommend giving it a shot if you're a Dragon Ball fan. Mario Golf Super Rush got a new trailer that showcased the different modes that you can play in the game, but the big news out of this trailer was the confirmation that Mario Golf Super Rush will be getting free DLC that'll add new characters and courses. This trailer teased that New Donk City from Mario Odyssey will be one of these DLC courses. I've been playing a ton of Mario Golf Super Rush since it came out last week, so you can expect a full review on my channel soon. But one thing I will say is that I found Mario Golf Super Rush to be a little bit content light, so I'm glad to hear that it'll continue to receive new courses through DLC. Monster Hunter Stories 2 made its third appearance of the week at this Direct, after already showing trailers at both Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live and the Capcom E3 stream. If you're curious about this game, there is a demo out now, and the progress you make in the demo will carry over into the full game, so you can safely play the demo without having to worry about repeating the exact same content in a couple of weeks. The WarioWare series is making its Switch debut with WarioWare Get It Together. The WarioWare games are usually all about clearing a series of mini-games as fast as possible, and WarioWare Get It Together follows the same general formula, but it looks like it'll play quite differently. You're actually physically moving around Wario, or whichever character you choose to play as, in all of the mini-games here. Unlike prior games, where a lot of the mini-games just revolved around well-timed button presses. Get It Together can also be played co-op with 2 players. The WarioWare games are so much fun, and their pick-up-and-play nature makes them ideal handheld games, so this is another series perfect for the Switch. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a game that's been a long time coming. In fact, it was announced way back at the Switch reveal event. But we now know that it'll finally be releasing this November. Shin Megami Tensei is one of the longest running JRPG series, and it's spawned countless spin-offs over the years, most notably the Persona franchise. In this new trailer, we got a look at gameplay, including Shin Megami Tensei 5's new battle system. While it doesn't seem to differ too much from prior games, keeping the turn-based battle systems, recruitment of demon allies, and demon fusion mechanics intact, Shin Megami Tensei 5 definitely looks a lot more polished visually than any other SMT game. While I'm definitely much more of a Persona fan, I do also like the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games, so I'm looking forward to playing SMT 5 later this year. The Danganronpa trilogy is headed to Switch in the form of Danganronpa Decadence, which bundles all 3 games along with an expanded version of the board game from Danganronpa 3. These are some of the most unique games around. Danganronpa is a visual novel set in a school run by a psychotic bear named Monokuma. Sporadically throughout the game, students are murdered, at which point you'll participate in Phoenix Wright-esque trials where you present evidence to prove who the killer is. I only played the first Danganronpa game on Vita, but I really liked it, so I've been meaning to get back to the series for years, so I guess now I'll finally have the chance to get around to it. It's also worth noting that while these games are being sold physically as a collection, you'll also be able to buy all 4 games individually on the eShop. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater originally released on Wii U back in 2014, and now it's coming to just about every other platform. It makes sense for this game to be ported, as I can't imagine it sold too well on the Wii U. The Fatal Frame games are survival horror games that see you photographing ghosts. This game received pretty mixed reviews when it came out, landing at a 67 on Metacritic, so I'll be interested to see if this port includes any tweaks to improve the game, because as of now, the only difference seems to be that this version includes some new costumes and photo modes. Doom Eternal's The Ancient Gods DLC is available right now on Switch. I absolutely loved this game when it came out last year, but I definitely couldn't imagine playing Doom Eternal on the Switch. But if you don't own any other consoles, I hear that this is a surprisingly competent port. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 is now out on Switch after releasing on PS4, Xbox One and PC last year, and coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X/S earlier this year. I absolutely adored these remakes and think this collection is a gold star example of how to do a remake correctly. If you have even a modicum of nostalgia for the Pro Skater series, you owe it to yourself to check this collection out. A Switch version of co-op shooter Strange Brigade was shadow dropped during this Nintendo Direct. Strange Brigade released on PS4, Xbox One and PC a few years back, and it sees up to 4 people fighting off hordes of mythical creatures in a 1930s setting. I played this a while back when it came to Game Pass and thought it was pretty good, so if you're looking for something to play with friends, this game might be worth a shot. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope got a brief showing here, but we didn't see anything that wasn't already shown in the Ubisoft showcase. I was shocked by just how much I liked Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, so I'm definitely excited to get my hands on this sequel. After years and years of fans begging them to bring the series back, Nintendo are finally resurrecting Advance Wars with Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. This collection includes from the ground up remakes of the first two Advance Wars games. These games are absolutely incredible, and they've been gone for far too long, so I couldn't be happier to see this collection coming to Switch. I'd been waiting so long that I was honestly questioning if we'd ever see this series again. I hope this game sells well so that Nintendo sees there's demand for more Advance Wars games. The DLC roadmap for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was fully laid out. The first expansion, Pulse of the Ancients, is out now, and it adds a new playable character in the form of the battle-tested Guardian, new challenges and enemy types, 2 new weapons, the Flail for Link and the Master Cycle for Zelda, which made its debut in the Breath of the Wild DLC. Pulse of the Ancients also adds a new difficulty level, Apocalyptic difficulty, for players seeking some additional challenge. The second DLC is called Guardian of Remembrance, and it'll be coming in November. This DLC will offer new character vignettes, new stages, additional playable characters, and new battle skills for existing characters. I never actually finished Age of Calamity because while I loved its premise, I was way too annoyed by its near constant frame rate issues. Next up, we got a quick look at The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. This is one of the only Zelda games I've never finished because I got fatigued with its motion controls. I guess by the time Skyward Sword came out, I was just burnt out on the motion control gimmick. I love the Zelda franchise, so I'm really looking forward to giving Skyward Sword another shot now that I can play it without motion controls. Following the release of a Mario Game & Watch to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary last year, we're now getting a Game & Watch to celebrate the Legend of Zelda franchise's 35th anniversary. This is a really cool way of celebrating both these franchises' anniversaries as well as Nintendo's history. The Legend of Zelda Game & Watch includes Zelda, Zelda 2 and the original Game Boy version of Link's Awakening, along with a reskinned version of the Game & Watch game Vermin featuring Link. As it's a Game & Watch, you'll also be able to use it to tell the time if you so please, and this Game & Watch features a playable clock and an interactive Zelda 2 timer. It's been 2 years since the first teaser for the Breath of the Wild sequel was shown, and finally we got a new glimpse at the game to close out this Nintendo Direct. While this trailer was only a minute and a half long, it still managed to get me unbelievably excited. Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made, so this game has a lot to live up to. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like Nintendo are resting on their laurels with this sequel, with this trailer teasing some intriguing new mechanics like a flamethrower and an ability that seemed to allow Link to phase through a cliff after turning to liquid. Of course, abilities from the first game will also be returning, with Link using stasis on an object and flinging it into a group of enemies. There's also a lot to look forward to in terms of world exploration in this game, with this trailer revealing that we'll also be exploring Sky Islands in this sequel. I'm fascinated by the tone of this game. It feels strangely ominous and dark, which is undoubtedly intriguing. This was a fantastic trailer and an amazing way to close out this conference. And there you have it. That was everything announced at the Nintendo Direct for E3 2021. This was a very good Direct, and easily one of the best showcases of this year's E3. I think it's pretty undeniable that Xbox and Nintendo stole the show with the two best presentations of E3. We got a lot of exciting announcements at this showcase, including the return of some fan favourite series like Metroid and Advance Wars that we've been hanging out for years. The only thing I was disappointed by in this Direct was them saying that there isn't any more planned for the 35th anniversary of the Zelda franchise. I was really hoping we'd see more of the classic games brought to the Switch. I was particularly hoping for a Switch port of Wind Waker HD because it's my favourite Zelda game and I don't really want to drag out a Wii U to play it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe or leave a comment. I made recap and review videos for almost all of the big showcases at E3, so if you haven't yet, be sure to check them out. And stay tuned for my upcoming reviews of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Biomutant.